Hello folks, Belfast boxing historian, ex-pro fighter Eamon McAuley here. Back with another wee chat about boxers from the past. I'm only back from a run there in a nice cold shower, so I'm feeling good. Today I want to talk about my favourite boxer, Harry Greb. I've kept the best till last. I've been talking about Harry Greb for many decades. I started boxing in 1979, so I reckon about 1981, 82, I was talking about Greb because I was reading wee snippets from the Boxing Illustrated, the KO Boxing magazine, The Ring, and wanting to know more about him. You might have got the odd one what it says, yeah, that's the guy that beat Gene Tunney, isn't it? But basically, nobody'd heard of him. He'd been forgotten. So, and even when I went to England, nobody knew who I was talking about. So here we go. Hopefully I can address that imbalance today. Greb was born June 6th, 1894. He died the 22nd of October 1926. He was only 32. He died on the operating table. He was nicknamed the Pittsburgh Windmill as he was from Pittsburgh and his unique style resembled a windmill. Speed was Greb's biggest asset. Harry Greb had 299 recorded fights, with only 12 defeats, around about 12 defeats. He had many more fights, but the record keepers just couldn't keep up with him as he boxed everywhere and anywhere. Greb was middleweight champion of the world 1923 to 1926. He boxed for the middleweight title before 1923 against Mike O'Dowd and George Chip, but the only way he could have won was by knockout. It was a no decision bout, and Greb wasn't a big puncher, so yeah. But he was a busy bee, throwing punches non-stop from every angle. But he had to win them fights by knockout. Greb boxed and beat the best boxers in 3 weight divisions and won the American light heavyweight title, thrashing unbeaten Gene Tunney for the belt over 15 rounds. Greb had 5 fights with Tunney. Greb lost a split decision to Tunney in the second fight, and according to the newspapers of the day, Greb was robbed. Tunney won the third contest, with Greb finishing strongly, and in the fourth contest it was declared a draw. Their fifth and final fight, Tunney won clearly, and at the end of the fight in St. Paul, Greb said to Gene, "It's time for you to fight someone else." Greb also told everyone that Tunney would beat Dempsey. Tunney always said Greb was the best man he met. How I ever survived that first round with Harry, I will never know. Tunney's nose was broke in the first 10 seconds and he was cut over both eyes. His face was a mask of blood for the remainder of the fight. If Harry Greb had have got the decision in the second fight, as he should have, then their 5-fight rivalry would have stood at 2 wins each and a draw. In 1919, Harry Greb went 45-0. Greb beat 16 Hall of Famers in his career. He was the only man in 82 fights to beat Gene Tunney. Harry Greb was blinded in his eye in 1921 by a seriously tough black fighter, Kid Norfolk. The retinal tear from a stray thumb was the start of the damage to his eye. Greb beat legends Tommy Gibbons, Gene Tunney, Tommy Loughran and Mickey Walker while blind in one eye. Incredible stuff, Royal Rover stuff. Harry Greb was inducted into the Ring Magazine Hall of Fame in 1955. Some people call Greb a dirty fighter and a womanizer, but in 300 fights, Greb was only ever disqualified once, and that was the guy who thumbed him, leaving him blind. Greb boxed Chuck Wiggins 7 or 8 times and said Wiggins was the best butter I ever butted heads with. But Wiggins was disqualified 8 times in his career and was much more of a dirtier fighter than Greb. And don't forget, they were just coming out of the bare knuckle era. Regarding Harry being a womanizer, he married his childhood sweetheart Mildred in 1919 and he had a daughter called Dorothy to her. Mildred tragically died of tuberculosis in 1923. Harry was also known to carry the Bible about in his coat pocket. Hardly a deflower of women. There are a lot of myths and lies about Harry Greb because there was no information really, so people made their own stories up. None of Harry Greb's fights exist no more. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me. It's his record and his achievements that matter. Gibbons, Loughran, Tunney, Walker, Flowers, etc. are all still available to watch on YouTube. And Greb beat them all. Greb beat Tiger Flowers in a previous fight, but lost his title to Flowers in a very close fight. Greb gave the black man a world title fight, as the Tiger became the first black man to box for the world title since Jack Johnson in 1915, 11 years previous. Harry Greb avoided no one. He boxed many black boxers when other white fighters were avoiding him, including Jack Dempsey, who wouldn't box Harry Wells. Greb was only stopped or knocked out once. He was beaten 2 rounds in his first year of boxing by Joe Chip. I believe he didn't go down low, but he was hurt. Greb would later avenge that loss to Joe Chip. Harry Greb broke his arm in a fight with Kid Graves in 1915. That was the only other fight which was inside the distance, but it was a freak result. There is no doubt that heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey avoided Greb. No doubt. Dempsey would box so many men that Greb had already beat. Dempsey and Greb done some sparring in Michigan in 1920, and Greb got the better of it over 3 rounds, roughing Dempsey up. When Greb was looking to fight with Dempsey, Doc Kearns, Dempsey's manager, was dismissive. Fat Willie Meakin boxed Dempsey 5 times. Dempsey won 1 and Meakin won 2, with 2 draws. Harry Greb boxed Willie Meakin twice, beating him easy, winning every round in both contests. Tunney beat Dempsey twice also, winning every round, apart from the knockdown he suffered in the 7th round in the Battle of the Long Count. Tunney came back low to drop Dempsey in the very next round. Dempsey defended his title against lesser men and Greb, no doubt about that. So why didn't he give Harry a shot? Even though Greb was a middleweight, he beat many light heavyweights, including 7 who would go on to become world champions. As Reg Gutteridge once said, if they made a film about Greb's life, nobody would believe it. I can proudly say that I boxed in the same venue as my hero. Harry Greb boxed in the Royal Albert Hall in 1915, I believe, and I boxed there in 1985, 70 years later. Greb lost to Sergeant Ring over 4 rounds, and I beat Moss O'Brien over 3 rounds. I even battered Greb. The night before I boxed in the ABA Senior Final, I stayed at my coach Harry Munger's house, as it was closer to Wembley. It was an hour in the tube for me to get to Harry's house, so I stayed in Harry's house that night before the weigh-in, as the weigh-in was at 10 o'clock at Wembley Stadium. That night I slept in a sleeping bag in the kitchen. As Harry and his wife were retiring to bed, Harry gave me a book to gloss over. It was a book on Harry Greb by James R. Fair called Given to the Angels. I never knew that Harry Munger knew about Harry Greb, or I would have asked him 10,000 questions about Greb. In 1989-90, I made a bid for this book, but the highest bid was in the hundreds. But in 1987, it was re-released again, and it only cost $7.99. I bought it and read it, but it wasn't a great read. The writer Fair knew Greb's friend Happy Albacker, but the book was myths, hearsay, and gossip. In the millennium, 2 books came out about Harry Greb: The Fearless Harry Greb by Bill Paxton and Live Fast, Die Young by Stephen Compton. They are excellent books, and I have both. In 1991, footage was found in an attic of a school university, which included training footage of Greb preparing for his fight in 1925 against Mickey Walker, the toy bulldog, another seriously tough fighter. And there was also footage of Greb and Walker signing the contract for their fight. People still hope and pray that there might still be footage out there of at least one of Greb's fights, but I seriously doubt it now. Greb would be, in my opinion, the greatest middleweight of all time, no doubt. But you have the likes of Sugar Ray Robinson, Marcel Cerdan, Stanley Ketchel, Roy Jones, Golovkin, Hopkins, Dick Taggart, Emil Griffin. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Nino Benevenuti, Mons under the say Hagler. I'm sure I'm leaving loads out. But yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for listening to me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, a blessed day. God bless and take care, and maybe I'll see you soon. Thank you.